Last chapter, chapter 11, Nation Time. It's not enough to say that I had transcended the mindset of being a banger by this time. After having spent 13 years of my young life inside what had initially seemed like an extended family but had turned into a war machine, I was tired and disgusted with its insatiable appetite for destruction. Destruction no longer fed my narcissism. It was not an expression of my thoughts. I wanted to construct something, which in banging is tantamount to treason. It took me a full 3 years to get out of the crypts. I could not just go to the administration building and put in for a transfer to civilian life. I had to practice what I wanted to express. Expression eventually to come through the practice of my new beliefs. Getting out turned out to be much like getting in the sense of building one's name and deeds in conjunction with what you believe. Many fail in trying to make this break. Some attempt to make the change to civilian life through working, going to school or church, or moving out of the neighborhood. But many find themselves drawn back in by the strong gravitational pull of the safe familiarity of the set and the hood. It was hard for me to truly substantiate my break because the opposition was quite strong and I had no support whatsoever. I knew that my enemies of old would not believe that I had actually stopped, so they would not cease trying to destroy me. My homies would feel let down, disappointed, and perhaps betrayed. And I would be locked in a defensive posture for goodness knows how long. During my time in Folsom Prison, I distanced myself as much as possible from the madness of the Crips and the Bloods. Unless it was a racial conflict, I didn't have time to walk, talk, and gather in the realm of negativity. My everyday actions demonstrated my seriousness in respect to my new direction. I got some flack from a few individuals, but overall the initial stages of my transition went smoothly. My daily routine was simple. In the morning, I go to my electronics class and stay until mid-afternoon. Once the class let out, I do my exercise, which consisted of running and calisthenics. I had long since given up on weights in exchange for a sleek, defined, limber body. I had a job as a clerk in the evenings and would go there after my exercise routine. I used my clerk job to help make others aware of the new African independence movement. I began to write, and in 1988 I completed a piece called "Where Does Correct Terminology Come From?" for one of our publications. It was my first writing and it was printed. It was so exciting to see my thoughts in print and was a tremendous help in my revolutionary development. Talib and I were cellmates for most of the 2 years there. Surprisingly, the gang community accepted my break and some even began to support my efforts, but this came after an entire year of my steadfast practice. I still talked with the other bangers and they still talked with me. Some asked questions and others said nothing about my change from banging to revolutionary. I didn't go along trying to persuade the bangers that their line was wrong, but it was wrong to me, though I did not reach that conclusion overnight. Once I realized it, however, I had to stick with it. I had faced the realization of who would ultimately be betrayed if I did not stop, which put banging in its proper perspective. While it did, and it still does, supply wayward youth with an idea of collective being and responsibility, in the end, it wrecks the lives of its participants and the innocents who live anywhere near its silo or base of operations. It is, unfortunately, the extreme expression of hopelessness in new African communities, misdirected rage in the form of retarded resistance. To continue banging would be a betrayal first of my children, who now depended on me for guidance, morals, and strength. What type of guidance or morals could I possibly offer from inside the ranks of a group that had no morals, where monsters and fat rats ran around like heroes for wanton acts of mindless aggression? While I take full responsibility for all the recklessness and the wickedness I have done, I do not take pride in it. To me, now, there is no beauty in destruction for destruction's sake. The second betrayal is that of all those who have been killed in our past, who fought so hard for our freedom, only to have us follow in their wake with massive destruction, rolling back most of the community unity they had constructed. What about our obligation to them? These things are what held me against the all-powerful suction of the set. It was by no means easy, and I wasn't always sure that I had chosen the right path. I got no pats on the back or congratulations from anyone. For a long time, it was just Talib and me amidst a sea of antagonists, skeptics, and obdurate onlookers waiting in the wings for me to stumble and fall. I took it one day at a time. In November of 1988, I was paroled. I had served 4 more years and 9 months on a 7-year sentence. I was met in Sacramento by a Muslim that Muhammad had sent to take me to the airport. Akiba had bought the plane ticket. Once I got to Los Angeles airport, I felt much better. When I entered the terminal, I didn't see anybody familiar. Not 10 steps later, I heard a voice. Freeze, put your hands slowly on your head and interlock your fingers. I didn't even bother to turn around. I went through the motions without a word. Where you come in from, the voice asked, and what's in your pouch? I am coming from Sacramento. Oh yeah? Who were you up there with, huh? A friend of mine from Sacramento City College. He and I were discussing the atmosphere. You ain't got no drugs in that pouch, do you? Nah, just some things from school. You a student? Yeah, I'm a student. I had learned to tell the pigs, and anyone else for that matter, only what they needed to know. The pig asked where I'd come from, and I told him. He asked who I was, and I told him. And yes, I was a student of the revolutionary science. Motherfucker whispered a second pig, who'd been searching my pouch. You just got released from state prison. Yeah, it's in Sacramento. He threw my pouch to the ground, the contents spilling to the floor around my feet. Then the other pig came to my left ear and whispered, "Welcome home, ninja." And with that, they faded back into the flow of terminal traffic. In my younger years, that wouldn't have bothered me much. But with my new direction and expanding consciousness, it struck me hard. I was picked up by my brother Kerwin, and we went straight to my mother's job. She was a bartender. She didn't see us enter the darkened club, and before she could spot us, we were standing there before her. "Oh," said Mom, "my baby." "Hey Mom," I said with the genuine love and affection as I leaned over the bar to hug her. "Honey, I've missed you so much." "Me too, Mom. I've missed you too." My eyes were shut tight over my mom's shoulder to hold back the rising tide of tears. After all the disagreements, our fights, and my total disregard for her feelings, she still loved me, still supported me. I knew what she had to go through in trying to raise us, especially Kershawn and me, who seemingly lived in juvenile hall, court, or some other detention center. Despite this hardship, Mom would faithfully be there every time to plead for our release. Because of us, she took more abuse from the authorities than we ever knew. "I get off at 10, but I know you have a lot to do, so let's get together tomorrow, all right?" "Yeah, Mom," I said, wiping my eyes with the back of my hand. "For sure, huh?" "Yeah, for sure." "All right, Mom, I love you." "And I love you too, baby." Kerwin and I left and made our way through the south central streets towards Mom's house, where everyone had gathered for my arrival. I couldn't believe the drabness of the city. Burned out buildings and vacant houses took up whole blocks. Gas stations and liquor stores owned by Koreans were now on every corner. Mexican merchants hung on corners, hawking oranges like dope. The obvious things that had been there all along, I now saw differently. Washington Boulevard was wrecked, rife in empty lots and homeless people pushing grocery carts commanded from supermarkets. They used to seem like lazy bums. Now they seem to manifest the cruel irresponsibility of society. Graffiti sprayed walls that I once was able to read and understand were now scrawled with some illegible markings, a new age in banging, the preppy games making their debut. We got to the house in 20 minutes. When I walked inside, it seemed smaller than I had remembered. Everyone was sitting around the table staring at me. They all wanted to know, and no doubt hoped, that Sanyika was real and had finally put rest the old beast monster. No one spoke. They just looked at me, hoping the first word out of my mouth wouldn't be "cuz." "Habari za jioni," I said, which is Swahili for good evening, and the whole room seemed to exhale with relief. I probably fucked that up. I know how to say habari gani and gukas kasini and dugu. I know a little Swahili, but I don't know it all. No one knew what I had said, but they did know that it was not crib talk. They all broke into smiles. Tamu, Candice, Kershawn, and Kerwin. I tried to explain to them the new path I was taking, but it was hard to communicate it all because I was still learning myself. Candice seemed the most disturbed by the changes I had made, and I knew it was up to me to better articulate them. My siblings had always paired off in twos. Kevin and Kim got along best and usually stuck together. Kerwin and Candice were co-conspirators, and Sean and I were comrades. Now had the 6 of us gone anywhere together or all gotten along at the same time. Kim went on to join the Air Force and Kevin moved away. Kerwin got a job and spied on us for Mom, and Candice, while trying to remain neutral, leaned hard towards Kerwin and really didn't get along too well with anyone. And Sean and I were looked upon with dismay by all. Now, here I was, back in the ruins of my family, trying to explain my new path, but somehow not getting it across. Candice kept cutting her eyes to Kerwin, and he kept sighing. Tamu just looked at me, and Sean seemed to be thinking about something else. It was clear that Tamu and Sean were my brightest prospects for conversion. Over the next hour, the homies started arriving. First came Red and Eric. "What up, Ninja?" said Red ecstatically. "Don't call me Ninja, Red. I'm cool, you know. Glad to be out and all." "Right, yeah. Me and E got something for you, monster." "Red, I changed my name. It's Sanyika now." "Right," said Red, like he hadn't even heard my corrections. "Here you go, homie. If you need anything else, let us know. We gone." He handed me a bunch of bills folded neatly. I didn't count them, just put them in my pocket and walked Red and Eric to the door. "Thanks, homie. Righteous. But if you need something else, just page me." "All right, brother." Count the money. I found out it was $1,000. Next came J-Dog, the financer of the hood and a stomped down loyalist. Though not much of a talker, he called the house from his blazer out on the street. "Yo, cuz, I heard you was out. Is it cool if I come on in?" "Yeah, dog, come on in." Dog was the only new African I knew with a press and a curl. I admired him, though, because he never put nuclear waste in his hair. Dog was cool. Shit. He has never denied anyone anything. Like the rebirth of Slick by the comrades from Digital Planets. He was cool like that. "Hey, yo, what up, monster?" Dog said in his smooth, cool style. As usual, he had blue rollers in his hair and a sweatsuit on. "Ain't nothing, just cooling with my fan band, kicking blackness. Oh, and you know, I changed my name while I was a prisoner." "Oh, yeah?" "Yeah, my name is Sanyika now." "What is that, Muslim?" asked Dog, genuinely curious. "No, there is no Muslim language, but there is Arabic that Muslims speak, but my name is Swahili." "Where is Swahili? In Africa?" "I know. There is no place called Swahili. Swahili is a language spoken in East Africa. That's deep. And how you say it again?" "Sanyika," I said slowly, sounding out the syllables. "What does that mean?" "I heard all African names have meanings, you know, say something about people." "Pretty much, which shows the depth of our culture. Sanyika means unifier, gatherer of his people." "Cool, how you say dog?" "Umba." "Nah, that's too hard. People might not never call me," he said and grinned bashfully. "Hey, homie, here you go. And if you need something else, get at me." "Oh, wait. Yo, what's this, crack?" "Yeah, it's 2 zones there for you." "Dog, I ain't no drug dealer no more, man. I can't feed my family with this. They can't wear this or live in this. How much these zones go for now?" "Oh," said Dog, looking rather disappointed. "They go for 500 apiece, but I be giving them to the homies for 300. "Well, here," I said, giving Dog back the 2 ounces. "Let me have $600 then. Cause I can't deal no dope. That's treason." "It's what?" "Long story, homie. I was getting bored and stir crazy in the house." "All right, homie. You drive a hard bargain, but I hear what you're saying. I can respect that. Here you go." He handed me $600. "Righteous, dog. Only for you though, cuz." "Oh, and Lil Monster too." "Cuz name's still Little Monster, ain't it?" "Yeah," I said, getting up to show Dog out. "For right now it is." When I went back into the living room, white boy Eric was there. "Get your coat on," said white boy. "For what?" "So I can take you shopping for some new clothes and shit. Come on." "He ain't going nowhere. He just got here," complained Tamu. "Yeah, bro, she's right," I said. "Happy that Tamu has saved me." "Well," said white boy, digging into his pocket. "Here then. But I'll be back tomorrow to get you, Ninja." "Don't call me that," I said, with my head down, eyes closed, and hands raised. "What, Ninja? Yeah, that's disrespecting me, brother." "Oh, well, excuse me," white boy said with a feigned look of dismay. "It's all right this time." Everyone looked at one another. They knew that although I had changed my name and reconnected to reality, the monster still lay dormant. "Here you go, Holmes." He handed me the crumpled bills. Thank you, E. And I'll be here tomorrow when you swing by, huh? Alright then, watch yourself too. I will. I closed the door and leaned on into an exaggeration of exhaustion and told Tamu I'd be ready to go in a minute. I now had $2,100. I gave Sean $900 of that as he tried to explain what was happening in the hood. We had gotten off to ourselves in the back room. It's the dope, man. It has tore the hood up.